Hey everyone, it's Bobby Payne here. I also brought my wife Rebecca Payne, and for episode 5, we are going to be interviewing me. Yeah, I know everyone's probably wondering who's this guy on this podcast trying to sell coffee to people, and also reckon it's Banshee all over Glamis. Anyway, what we're doing for this one is I just want to give everyone kind of a perspective on who I am, how I got into this, what we're trying to do, and hopefully provide you a little bit of entertainment and some knowledge, and that's about it. So, without further ado, here's my beautiful wife, Rebecca.
Thank you. Hey, babe. As I was reflecting and thinking about this, I thought, man, a year ago, if you had told me we would have Glamis Coffee, that we'd be selling coffee, we'd have shirts and hoodies, we'd have a website, I wouldn't have believed it. I did not see this coming. So, what happened? How did we get here?
I didn't see this coming either. This all started from my brother-in-law, Joe, hitting me up asking about starting an off-roading coffee brand. After about 30 minutes of talking, he was like, "Hey, just start up your own." He was like, "We'll take care of the roasting and the shipping, but you need to design the bags, start up your own LLC, and do all the marketing." And I saw an opportunity there. I always want to start my own business. I'm coming at the end of my career with the Navy, and I thought this is an exciting venture I could get into and also have a business built around the thing that I love, which is Glamis, off-roading, the dunes. So I saw an amazing opportunity there. And while I still have a paycheck coming in, I figured let's go for it. And that's how we got this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad about that last part as well. It's no joke starting your own business.
Hey.
What So tell me what about Glamis Coffee what is it about Glamis Coffee that you were trying to create that didn't yet exist for you about Glamis or about that world?
Well, I know nobody really shows up thinking they need a bag of coffee. I know that for sure. So it wasn't that I thought there was a big need for coffee. It's people bring their coffee, you're the coffee drinker, you're not. Most people start their mornings with coffee. I saw an opportunity there. Obviously, coffee is a saturated market in its own way. But this is, hey, let's design something around something you're using every day anyway that gets you excited for the place that you love. And yet take some proceeds from that product and give back to the place that you really enjoy. So we have a high quality product of something you're going to drink anyway. Might as well get excited about it. And then on top of it, we're giving back to the dunes. Nothing else I buy usually gives back to the things that I love. So it made sense to me. And that's honestly one of the reasons, like, hey, why would you buy Glamis coffee? Well, simple. We're going to give back to Glamis. It's not some guy just trying to get rich off a market. And quite honestly, Glamis isn't that big in the big scheme of things. It's something we love. The people that know Glamis love it, but it's for us. And at the same time, we might be able to do more with this and keep growing, especially with this podcast. But that's, did people need coffee? Probably not. You can get coffee anywhere, but they're not going to have Glamis coffee. So here you go.
Why Glamis?
So
I guess
Glamis,
that seems the obvious part to some, but to others, it's not the obvious part at all. Like, where
yeah,
did Glamis come from and why and
yeah,
where?
totally. So Glamis coffee, why Glamis? Um, it's one of those things where, in its own kind of way, it's kind of a mythical thing to in itself. I think. What I think is really kind of fun about Glamis is, it's a place obviously I love and it's magical for a lot of people, but just the name of it, Glamis, is really it was just a train stop back in the old days, and the only structure there is a Glamis Beach store. So Glamis
And for
itself is
those
not
that
really like
don't
a place.
know,
So
Glamis is what?
Glamis is Imperial Sand Dunes. It's 2.5, 3 hours east of San Diego, right near the Yuma border. So right in border of Mexico, right there. So if you take the 8 straight out, you'll run right into it. It's a 40-mile sand dune system, and it goes longer than that. But in the United States, you get about 40 miles, and probably about 6 miles wide. And that system is part of the Algodones Dunes system in the US. Most people probably don't know that part, but it's from a dried up lake bed. So anyway, that's how these sand dunes came about. And if anyone in the off roading scene, this thing started getting popular in the '60s. and then it just kept growing from there. And I think it got probably, I don't know, people, I guess it was kind of peaking in the early 2000s. I mean, it's still extremely well known now, but that's when it got probably its wildest in the 90s, 2000s, and they start regulating a little more now. But it's a lot of fun. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So let's just do a little backstory on you.
Okay.
You you're in, California now,
Yes.
Southern California now, and, but that's not where you started. You
No.
grew up on the East Coast, but also in Washington State,
Yeah, I grew up between Washington State
and
and North
you
Carolina. So I was born in
yeah.
Washington State. When I was 5, my parents packed up their stuff from North Carolina because that's where my mother's family land was, and some of the family over there. So that we've all moved to North Carolina. And then when I was 6 and a half, my mom and dad got divorced. My older brother went to go live with his dad, his real dad, and my mom kept my sister, and then my dad took me. And then of the kids, I was the only one that moved back and forth. So every other year, I would move between Washington State and North Carolina until I was 16. Then I stayed in North Carolina, and then joined the military at 24. And then I've been bouncing all over the place ever since.
So always on the move, yeah.
Always on the move.
When did, four-wheeling or off-roading come into your life?
So that started with my dad. I remember flying back to Washington, and they had a little Suzuki 125 for me. And first thing I did when I got on was flipped it right over on top of me. So I guess I'm not new to the whole wrecking my stuff scene. But that little 125, I absolutely loved it, and I rode it everywhere. That was like my prized possession when I was a kid. And after moving back and forth, I only had it for maybe a couple years, and I think someone's either stole it or sold it. So it was not in my life anymore. And then after I got older, I got my own vehicles, this and that. I didn't get back into off-roading again until after I visited my brother, or shortly after I got in the Navy. So about 20 years ago. And he took me down the Oregon dunes, and then that just ignited the fire all over again. So
What are those Oregon dunes like? They're on the beach, right? Or in the
they're on
bay?
the beach. It's a different type of riding. It's a lot of fun. So if you guys have never been to the Oregon dunes, for like so Winchester Bay, you have Coos Bay and Winchester Bay. Really cool. People will probably talk crap about every different little spots, but Oregon, you got the Pacific Northwest, you got that moody, um, kind of drizzle that's out there, but at the same time, you have this pocket of sand, probably about 4 or 5 fingers on it that you can ride up, but it's beautiful. I don't care if it's, wet outside or dry. It's just a beautiful place because you have ocean on one side, you have mountains on the other, and then just this little pocket right there. You even got like little lakes up there you can swim in. Super cool place. And they do events throughout the year. But I mean, for you guys on Glamis, if you want something to do when it's hot here, go to Oregon. Hell, go to Idaho. There's all sorts of places you can go ride in the dunes to get away from this because it's just hot and Glamis. So, but yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Oregon, it's a hell of a drive to get there, but it's really nice.
Yeah, that's a story, right? Like 18 hours one way?
Oh yeah, it was horrible. So my brother one time when I first got to San Diego, he was like, "Hey, let's do a trip." And anything my brother wants to do, I'm usually game for it. And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll be there." So I had this open trailer with my little 4Runner, and I had my 2 quads. I think I had a LT 500, sold 500 two-stroke. Um, they're pretty cool. They don't last, I think the most reliable thing, but they're cool. But anyway, I had that in my 450. So 18 hours straight, and I was dreading the drive back the entire weekend I was there. So, but yeah, coming back, I think I lost 2 gas cans, spare tire, like the straps
Oh,
started
god.
breaking. It was a nightmare. I got
Yeah.
home at midnight, and yeah, I had so much 5 energy shots in me. I was just shaking trying to go to bed. So yeah, good times. Don't do it in one shot. Sucks.
No, many days, secure your stuff, less
Yeah,
yeah,
little lessons
less
learned, if
casualties.
you want a tip, just stop a little more, make it 2 days if you can, but 18 hours is just grueling. Anything over 10 sucks. So,
Totally.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's Oregon news for you. I got tons of videos of it too. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, you should throw some of those up.
Yeah, I might throw some in there.
What about I'm just curious what you would say to this. What's your if we what's your favorite off-roading place not in the dunes? A non-dune off-roading experience?
Moab. Moab
Rock crawling.
is another happy spot for me. I love rock crawling. It's fun. You're going 3 miles an hour, but it'll make your asshole pucker up pretty good. No, so rock crawling's, super fun, and used to do it quite a bit, and yeah, I mean, anything with a machine, turn it loose, have fun. I mean, look at King of the Hammers, that's just rock crawling with speed.
I know, that's gonna be exciting to go to someday.
Yeah, it's going on right now, we need to make a trip up there next year. So, yeah, but Moab, I love it.
Well, a question back about the coffee brand. What would you say what do you absolutely not want this brand to become?
Oh, I guess
Gotta give you some questions you didn't see coming. Keep you
yeah,
in
I guess I don't wanna turn into a basic bitch brand, put it that way. If you want me to be pretty blunt with it. You see a lot of these pastel bags that don't seem cool, there's nothing going on with it. That's just annoying to me, and then you see stuff
Well, you've
where
already passed that, so I think we're good there.
yeah,
The bags are cool.
I'm not here
What
to live, laugh, love, guys. I wanted to at least have some edge to it, so let's make it fun.
Yeah, well, speaking
Yeah.
of,
Yep.
tell us a little bit about these bags here. I can, I might pull them
You
down while
got
you're
some in the
talking
back?
about them. But yeah,
So which one you grabbing?
we'll start with Desert Sunrise.
Okay, Desert Sunrise, this is the one that for the people that just love the dunes and just love the look of the dunes. I mean, this is one of those things. Sunrise and sunset is the most beautiful thing in those dunes, and it's kinda what I designed the whole logo after. That's everyone who's there, no matter what, I mean, you're usually partying too hard to get up for the sunrise, but at least sunset, we can make that one happen, and with the right lighting, the desert is just absolutely amazing. So, anyway, I wanted something that just showed off the landscape for, um, I guess, just people that just like taking it easy and just that's what they live for. I try to capture, like, 3 different things with the bags. So, that's Desert Sunrise, and that's our, Nicaraguan it's a really light, um it's medium, but it's just a very smooth medium roast.
It's a light medium.
Yeah. What you got now?
Hangover.
So Hangover, the
I can't see what you can see, but
so
I'm
you can
gonna
see it, it goes in and out.
yeah.
So Hangover, this whole thing came about and this is I love the dog. So I wanted something that would play on a couple things. Obviously, with the dog, you got hair of the dog. When you get up, most people when you're out there partying, you wake up, you start drinking again. That's hair of the dog. So I'm like, let's just come up with something that just kind of plays off that. I'm like, what dog looks like a hangover? And that's that. Let's think it's like a pug and a Chinese crescent mix, or what that is. And so the dog just looked like a hangover. I'm like, let's just make it fun, put it in there. And the whole thing with Hangover so there's this band, Jay the Cat. They got a song called "Hello Hangover," and what I loved about it is it's just yeah, it's a great song, and it made a hangover sound fun and upbeat. And I'm like, "Let's make a bag that's just this hangover because more like you're hungover, upbeat." And it's just and if someone hit me up one time and they're like, "Hey, is this like got like extra caffeine in it?" I'm like, "No, no, it's just
They were afraid to buy it. They
yeah, they were
didn't buy
afraid
it.
to buy it because they thought this thing was tainted with something. Like, no, it's just a Colombian medium roast, and honestly, it's one of my go-tos. Like, that is, like, my normal go-to with that.
Yeah, it's
So,
our favorite. We drink
yeah.
that one every morning.
So what do you
Most
got
mornings.
now? You got
Although lately, this morning, I think we drank, Spirit of 1979.
yeah, we've been drinking a lot of this. So Spirit 79, what I love about this bag, this was the most fun. This is the bag I'm proudest of the most. That old picture, I love it. I've seen that floating around the internet for the forever,
It's
and I thought it just captured, just an essence of old school Glamis and the era that I completely missed, growing up bouncing all over the place, then showing up here. It was 2014 when I first showed up to Glamis. So, I love that, and I'm jealous of the people that grew up out here. So anyway, that was a fun bag, and I was like, "Hey, let's do like an homage to the OGs out here." And I figured, they probably drink dark roast, so that's why we had our one dark roast, as Spirit of 79. If you look on the back of the bag, I got on GlamisDunes.com and I asked the guys on the forums, like, "Hey, can you shoot me over some photos, some old school stuff?" And I didn't know anyone really on the forums. Actually, I know a lot of people now on the forums, but they all go up at different slang words, but anyway, or code words, but, or
Slang
nicknames,
word.
slang, that's code. So,
Handles, I think, is sometimes
handles,
called.
Jesus.
There.
Anyway, all the guys got handles on there, which was all good, but I didn't know who half the people were on it. And I was just threw it out there. I was like, "Hey guys, I'm trying to come up with a coffee bag for Glamis. Can you send me some pictures?" And only a handful of people sent pictures in. So of the handful that gave them to me, I was able to get my buddy Ken on there with his old rail. He sold it since then, but I got him just doing I think it was during the EPO races
Mhm.
up there. It was during that
EPO.
time.
Mhm.
So I got a picture of that, and then also his grandson Justin, and I even throw one with me and my Banshee on it, pre-wreck, uh, the first before the first wreck. So anyway,
Before the first wreck.
Banshee's holding up pretty good. But anyway, that's on there, and I'm thinking eventually, when it comes time to, get new bags or redesign anything, I'm meeting a lot of cool people with some old rigs, so I might try to get some of their photos to incorporate onto it because I hate using random photos for stuff, so, I want it to mean a lot, especially the community. But that was simply the funnest one to put together, and I get a smile every time I look at it. Now, on the side of the bags, we put "Find Your Way Home" because if you look at the mission statement on the bags, um, it really ties into the bottom of it because I always looked at it like this was a find your way back to where you love. And that's why I put on the bottom of it, no matter where your happy spot is, either the sand, water, rocks, or desert dunes, find your happy spot. So that was, just find your way back to it. So that's why we put that on there. Um, and I spent a lot of time on the actual mission statement. That was something I was taking really seriously and try to capture what this place means to me and I hope means to you in some way. So, yeah, the bags were fun and I really enjoyed that process. The creative side of this, I absolutely enjoy. So, yeah.
Yeah, the logo is another thing you created. That was the first, I think.
Yeah, logo was first. Um, I spent a lot of time on that. And then the designer I was working with, he specializes in just coffee bags. And I told him exactly what I wanted. And then we went back and forth with ideas. And one things with this is, if you're actually designing your own logo, there's a lot of good tips these guys can give you because I was trying to do one thing and they're like, hey, that's great, but you might want to take a look at this if it gets printed on patches or if you're getting sewn somewhere. These things are not going to show up, this and that. So you want something that still pops, it still shows off well, and it's easy to read. But at the same time, you don't want to get too lost in the woods, or you might just lose it when you put it on different fabrics and stuff. Like I even noticed this one, it pops better against white. But, obviously this shirt, I love it. I think it looks cool that it's kind of blends in and you don't really see it, but you recognize it. I love that. Um, but we'll see how it goes.
We had many conversations about when that would work well and when that wouldn't.
Rebecca's like, Nobody knows this. No one knows you. They're not going to
Like, you
see this
can't see
and they'll
half the
know what
logo. You can't see half the
you
logo.
can't even see it. I'm like,
He's like,
well,
"But that's what makes it cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if nobody knows what it is, it doesn't make it cool, it just makes it unknown."
it's cool. All my buddies
It
went
is. Well,
straight
I have
for it.
to say, we've sold more black shirts probably than any of our other colors, so,
Totally. Well, it's also
yeah.
a place you need dark colors anyway. White doesn't show up very well, or doesn't
Yeah,
take care of itself well out
gets
there.
dirty,
Yeah.
easy, totally.
So that's that.
I'm wondering, I don't know if you've told I know you did when uh, did the first version of this podcast, which we didn't end up having good video of, but I
Yeah.
know we talked about your story of you your first time out at Glamis. I don't know if that's come up in other
Yeah,
podcasts.
I mean, I talked to Brad and Ken about it. We
Yeah,
mentioned
that's
it.
right, that makes
We
sense.
mentioned it in that one, but I'm sure, there's only so many people have seen it. So I guess I can go into exactly how maybe I can sum it up in a quick way of how I came out to the dunes. So after riding with my brother out in Oregon, he told me, "Hey man, if you love this, you need to go to Glamis." And he had never actually been to Glamis. So I mentioned this to Brian too when we're doing our podcast. But I always knew Glamis was like supposed to be the pinnacle of riding. So I was like, if I can ever have the Navy get me out here, I'm going to take it. And I got orders out here. So I showed up with my trailer with two quads on the back, heading over straight to the dunes. And I saw this razor burning to the ground. I thought it was just awesome. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Like when you see that, you're like, hell yeah,
Mhm.
this place wild. Let's go. So,
Mhm.
got to Wash Road, trying to find a spot to camp, and asked a ranger, I'm like, "Hey, where can I tent camp around here?" And he's like, "Hey, man, you need to go to like Wash, like 15, 18, something like that." And I'm like, "Where am I at now?" He's like, "Well, you're on 4." I'm like, "All right." So I kept on going and found a spot with some shrubs and jackknifed my trailer um, by them, so no one would run me over in the middle of the night and set up camp. And I'm like, well, I have nothing to do. And I'm just standing here. I'm like, well, let me go make some friends. So grabbed some beers, walked over to a camp. Actually, I don't think I'm a fooler, but anyway, I walked over to this camp and saw this dude with a cowboy hat on. He's kind of sauced up and started bullshitting with him a little bit. That was my buddy Brad now. He was on the podcast. But funny thing is, yeah, I've hardly ever seen more cowboy hats after that. But anyway, just happened to have a cowboy hat. So anyway, went over by the campfire, started BSing with everybody, and I was there for about half an hour, and they're like, "So, how do you know Brad?" I'm like, "I don't know Brad." And and they're like, "Well, who the hell are you?" You know, like, "Where did you come here with?" And, I'm like, "Well, I just came here by myself." And they're like, "Oh, dude, you don't do that." And I'm like, "Why?" You know, and they're like, "Well, because you could probably die." And, I've ridden in sand before. I'm like, "Really, guys?" I wasn't thinking too much of it. And they're like, "Hey," they started telling me all their other stories about how everyone in that camp's been life flighted out of there and all these different things. Like, "Hey, just come with us tomorrow. You seem cool enough, and, we'll go from there." So, went on a ride with them, and we had a blast. First thing they did, take me straight to China Wall and went straight up it, and we had a great
Biggest
time.
dune out there.
Yeah, that's probably the steepest dune, out there that is recognizable, I guess. And once, Brad went up it, I went up right after him, and they're like, "Okay, I guess they could see I could ride." So, after that, we partied, and they're like, "Hey, man, pick up your stuff. You're coming over with us." And so I packed my shit up, went over to their camp, and I've been with them for the last 12 years. So, good people, and they took old Stray Cat in. That's what they called me for a while, with Stray Cat.
Mhm.
So, worked out really good.
What would you say the desert teaches people that you can't learn anywhere else?
Well, riding in sand is a lot different. We've covered this with, and people talk about this all the time. You got to read the sand, and unless you get some experience in it, you won't really know what that feels like. It's like driving in snow. That you're trying to, it is really interesting, and it's almost like a drifting kind of feel with it. Your tire pressure has a lot to do with it. The moisture in the sand has a lot to do with it. So unless you're out there getting experience, um, it's hard to really tell somebody. They just need to get out, spend the time, get their bearings underneath them. Don't take a ledge straight on. You'll launch right off before you know you'll destroy everything you have. So if you ever come up on those lips, just take the lip to the side and have a flag on the back of your car. One thing that I notice with people is if you are riding behind somebody and you start lagging behind too far, you're essentially just recarving the dune yourself. You're just flying blind again. So if you're behind a bunch of people, follow those flags, read them. And those flags are there for a purpose. They're about 10 feet high, well, like 8 to 10. So when you see that coming, it's to warn people, hey, there's someone riding right there. So you can get out of the way so you don't hit someone head on. At the same time, you're riding behind them when they go over a berm and you see that flag just drop, well, there's a drop off right there. If it's nice and smooth and it goes down, then you know exactly what's on the other side by just reading that flag in front of you. So I'd say give us some good people, learn what you're doing, have someone take your time with you, and learn how to ride behind people and read those flags. So there you go.
Yeah. What is the biggest mistake that new Glamis riders make?
They go by themselves. That really is probably the biggest mistake. The other thing is they outdrive their talent or outdrink it, one
Yeah.
or the other.
Yeah.
Um, know your limitations. Obviously, you only get better if you push your limitations, but try not to just outrun it. So,
Yeah.
um, learn
Well,
how
you
to
gotta work
recognize
your
that and don't
edge.
let your
There's
ego.
that sweet spot where you can work the edge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Develop.
but that all takes time.
Yeah.
Also risk tolerance. That's everyone has a different
Mhm.
risk tolerance. Hell, you may have a lot to lose. You may ride a little smoother than other people.
Mhm.
If you don't, you might just run like a wild child all day. It's all good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the number one thing I'd say, or a couple things.
How about what's one rule that everyone should respect? What's a rule that's, like, legit and ought to be respected?
Don't be a dick. No,
Like, is that just everywhere, or is
no,
that
no,
a
that's
specific
everywhere. No,
example?
no, the one rule that everyone should respect. Treat people the way you want to be treated. How hard is that? Um,
Alright, we're going golden rules
I
here,
am.
okay.
You know what? It's golden for a reason. So
It's
thinking
true.
about that, treat this place like it's your own home.
Okay,
You
I
don't
see
want
what
to,
you're saying.
clean up after yourself. Don't make a mess. Be respectful of others. I guess the only problems I've had out there is people will steal your stuff. So
Yeah.
it's don't do that to people. Like I've had my GoPros ripped right off my four wheeler, and they're like, "Oh, I should have left it." Well, you know what? Should have, but I should have stole it either. Just
Sure.
like when someone breaks down, they'll pick apart someone's rigs. They'll never leave their cars out there because somebody will come by and just rip them apart. So that's what I mean with that. Just treat people well, and I think it'll go a long way. But also clean up after yourselves. So.
I've also heard you talk about how important riding gear is.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, it takes a couple accidents and you'll realize exactly how important riding gear is. So I religiously will wear, I mean, by law you have to anyway, but a helmet and boots. I know a lot of guys that'll just take their work boots out there and wear them, and I wear legit, riding boots that at least come up above your shin. Um, I have been getting, my first accident was on a three-wheeler and it just catapulted me and landed on my head in a ditch. So I learned really, really young, wear a helmet, have the right gear. Like even if you wear chest protectors, great, all more the merrier. But I mean, if anyone saw that accident I had last weekend, I got balled up. It's a miracle I even walked away from that the way I did. And I still got the visor ripped off the helmet, the front face piece ripped off of it, and looked like I got a tree trunk neck, but I mean, that was a hard hit, and that really could have been a lot worse. That four-wheeler ran me over twice in that process. So, helmets, wear your gear, guys. It's extremely important for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, not to maybe this will be our segment all about lessons or whatever, not to be so doom and gloom.
Go ahead,
But
beat a
there's
dead horse around here.
no, no, but, I guess the other one that's coming to mind is, people may not be aware of the danger of these kiddie tracks that kids play in.
Oh man, you're gonna pull up every accident I ever had. So
No,
a kiddie
no,
tracks,
I'm just thinking, like, there's just yeah,
yeah, the kiddie
just
tracks on Wash
little
Road, they're real,
awareness.
guys. I hit one a couple years, probably about 5 years ago, and I was going about 40, 45 miles an hour. I hit it, and it was probably about a 4 feet deep one. I just didn't see it.
But
It was
what is it? What's a kiddie
a
track?
kiddie track is where the kids will basically do like figure eights outside their wash or inside their wash all day because I mean, hell, the kids want to ride all day, so what better just put them in a track and they'll just do circles for hours and hours and keep them entertained. I teach them how to ride. But anyway, if you're not paying attention, you can hit one of these, and when you do, it hurts. And I hit one and broke my nose, broke my rib, put a hole in my intestine,
Okay.
and then I drove back to Colorado, for 2 days straight with just 2 black eyes getting ready to go back to work, so it's not fun. Broken ribs suck, guys. So, yeah.
Just little things to give new dune riders a heads up about out there.
She's gonna roast me. She gets this opportunity to be like, "Hey, what's
No!
all these stupid things you've done? You should do
No.
it."
Trying to make this educational.
It is educational. So,
Okay, so we have a side by side.
yeah,
Your first time with a side by side. We've had that for a few months now. You have a Banshee
yeah,
in the repair shop. And you also have a 450, Honda 450.
yeah.
Do we call that anything
Yeah,
else?
no, it's a TRX 450, same thing.
TRX
Yeah, that's
450.
what it is.
But yeah, so what else have you had? What this is
Okay,
the latest
sure.
rendition of your
So,
fleet.
I guess this all started I had that little 125 when I was a kid. After that, I went and got a Raptor 700, and I demolished it quite a few times. What a tough bike. So, if you want something super reliable that is well, damn near indestructible. The Raptor 700s are amazing. They sit a little tall for my taste. They're fun. They have the power when you always want it. But yeah, I had the Raptor 700, and then I got an LTR 450, and those are cool bikes. I love them. They're wide. They have an aggressive look. They you sit down in a pocket on them. They just have a great feel. They're fuel injected and they look evil when you race cut them. They just look so good. I tore that one down and I rebuilt it from the ground. The first quad I've torn down and done that too. And I absolutely love that 450. I wish I never got rid of it. Um, After that, I got a LT 500, and that's an old Quadzilla. And it was a cool quad. It looked ugly. I traded the Raptor 700 for it, and they got a deal. I'll tell you that. But anyway, that 500, um, tore it down, had Duncan build the engine, and we had to work a couple bugs out of it. But when it's all said and done, then I had, Doctor Q, give me one of his pipes. So, if you don't know him, he's up in San Bernardino. He's, like, known for, like, all the Quadzillas, and bought one of his pipes off him, threw it on there, and it just looked good. So, anyway, love that one, got rid of it when I moved to Colorado. So, when I moved to Colorado, I had no use for them because 'cause you're just up at, huge elevation. The trails are just, not made for it. So got rid of them, got into rock crawling, and then I, built up my Forerunner, and that's where I did all the overlanding stuff with it. And um, then I traded the quads for this kind of a buggy. It was on 40s rear steer. It was pretty cool, little fun thing to play around with. Got rid of it, traded it to for an Articat 1000. So I did have another side by side. It's not quite as cool as this one, but it was outfitted pretty well. It's on portals. So that on 33s had more ground clearance than that buggy did on 40s, and had front and rear winches, fully reinforced cage. That thing was great for like Moab, all the little trails. So that was awesome. Then I come back to um, San Diego and I get the TRX 450s. I need a quad to go right out here, and I'm more of a quad guy. So picked that up, and then I ended up getting the Banshee. I found a guy up in near LA. It was his dad's, and he grew up with that quad. And his dad had, I guess, Trinity built it back in the day. It sat for 15 years, and I think it had like a 392 kit on it, and it screams. It goes really well, and so yeah, that's the bikes I got. But yeah, I wrecked the Banshee last year, tore it down, rebuilt it, and then I get it out here and wad it up again. So anyway, it's in the shop. Not in a shop, it's in my garage. So I'm gonna fix
Yeah.
it, and
Which is a shop.
that's my shop. So anyway, that's the stuff that I've had a couple dirt bikes too, but I'm better on two wheels or on four wheels than two. That's for sure. So I'll stick with four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
And then we got the Can-Am. It's, X3, Turbo RR, and it scoots. It does pretty good. Now I realize there's a lot of things I gotta do to it now, as soon as I get it, but it's just we'll get her built up too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, I'm curious. Let's go back to coffee for a few minutes or to
Okay.
the business for few minutes. Curious what um, building this coffee brand and company, what this has taught you about yourself.
It taught me I need to be an influencer now, which is not something I never really thought I was gonna be. So, honestly, it's fun. This is something that, yeah, this got its challenges. I'm not quite sure what you're going to walk into next, but that's just running a business. I'm sure any other business owner can tell you that you'll find all sorts of challenges. And I think right now, a lot of it's just getting the word out to people. But it's a fun process. So yeah.
What part of you had to grow in order to make this happen?
Um, I would say honestly, getting in front of people on a camera, that's definitely one of those growing pains. Like I have no problem talking to people, but now all of a sudden you need to bear yourself in front of the world and you just feel kind of vulnerable out there. So for the people that are starting something like this, just do it. It's gonna suck until you it's kind of like walking outside naked, you know? It's like, well, here we go. But honestly, once you tell your friends and your friends get on board and the people that you honestly care whose opinion um I guess if you know the people whose opinion you actually respect, if they're on board with it, then you can pretty much tell anybody because after that,
Mhm.
who really cares? So have fun with it. Everyone's going to talk shit. There's haters everywhere. Just you'll be all right. But that's probably the start of this.
What surprised you most along the way so far?
Um, you know what? I would say what has surprised me the most as I was so shocked that everyone in my camp got robbed. I shouldn't be shocked in some ways, but at the same time, how much people rallied behind it and got right in there. And I thought it was so cool. Like, even the other people I've talked to were super on board with this. And all the way from, you know, talking to Brian from Glamis Veterans and then Brian from Sand Asylum, where they're like, "Hey, man, come on over. We'll do a collaboration, this and that." And I'm like, I don't even know what this fully is at the moment, but here we go. Let's go do this. And everyone was pretty, you know, uh, open to all of it. And then they had the coffee. Like, hey, this is damn good coffee. Well, great. Yeah, there we go, guys. They were fully on board and they love the mission of it. And it's great when you have people that see what you're doing and they totally believe in it and they get on board. So it surprised me. Besides running into Mark's wife and the gym wearing one of our shirts, that was probably the second most
Ooh,
surprising.
wild.
Yeah, blew my mind. Um, so that was super cool. Had a great time with that. When you see someone wearing your shirt that you didn't sell it to,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, what is this?" It blew my mind. So thank you guys for that. Yeah.
When someone drinks a cup of Glamis coffee, what do you hope they feel?
Well, it's one of those things I'm not gonna be cheesy with people. You're drinking coffee, guys. It's damn good coffee. What I hope you feel is some sort of connection with the bags that you're drinking it from. You see this, you know that you're giving back to a cause. So that's the thing with it. And this year we're giving $1 of every bag we sell to Glamis veterans. And um, we have no problem with that at all. Absolutely love it. And I would give to that organization as long as we're around. Put it that way. I totally believe in what they're doing. And that was one of the best things that I've seen coming into this community. All my friends were like, "Hey, you need to go to the Veterans Day ceremony." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, yeah, I'll go to it, see what it's all about." And then they're like, "Hey, you need to go down and get a coin." I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "It's cool, guys. I don't need any recognition or anything like that." I always looked at, events like this for like some of the veterans, like, that came through a NOM and stuff like that, who've seen a lot of stuff. And at the time I was an E5 in the Navy. I wasn't, yeah, hadn't done anything yet. So I'm like, I'm not trying to go down and be part of this. But I saw how well they treated the vets and what this event was for. And I was like, you know what? That's super cool. So years later, when this came about, I was like, hey, how am I ever going to get anyone to, get on board with this? And I'm like, we need to get back to the community. I'm like, what organizations do we have in Glamis that I could just be like, this is awesome? And I'm like, I knew and that was it. Then that's when I ended up meeting Brian, and he was just super gracious and let us come out there and set up our stuff and, gave us a shout out that he didn't have to do. So, um, that's that's just a really great thing, and I guess going into stuff like this where, hey, like, why would people do that? It's like, hey, because you're giving back to the community. You know, I'm
Mhm.
like, if you love the place, know that this supports it.
Yeah.
That's really it. And that's yeah,
Yeah, and I had a chance to go. I mean, I know Brian will be on the podcast soon, he'll cover a lot of this, but it was a very meaningful ceremony. This was my first year that I got to go, and, yeah, beautiful, moving. I the first guy, at that time when the part of the ceremony where they have all the old vets come through and,
yeah.
grab the mic and say their name
It's
and,
touching. It's great,
went
man.
very touching. The first guy 90 something years old.
Still
Like,
doing. Yeah,
still like, yeah, he drove himself out there in some kind of I don't know, I'm sure hopefully a sandrail or something safe, but he drove himself out there, and it was super inspiring.
totally.
Really, really cool seeing all these older vets and then, of course, all the way up to young guys and
Yeah,
women and active duty, um but yeah, really, really meaningful, you could see how honored the vets themselves felt by the ceremony and
yeah.
yeah, just a super cool look, like, the flag itself is, like, kinda down in this bowl and you've just got all these rigs, like, lining the ridges of these dunes, it's kinda like it's a little epic feeling,
It
it's a
is,
little,
man. It's like
like,
Thunderdome over there. So you
cinematic, like, yeah,
yeah, and
it's
it
so
is
cool.
the largest what privately put on, event in the country, which is probably, I guess, the world now. Remember Brian saying something about that. But anyway, we'll get
For
Brian on, he'll
veterans,
talk all about it.
privately
But
put on veterans event,
either way,
yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things that the people from the dunes, they all know about, the Veterans Day event,
yeah.
and it's super cool. And but for anyone who has not, I hope this gets some circulation around because
I would say if you can only ever make it to one thing ever in Glamis, I would say make it that.
that's the event.
That's a very moving event,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is the event. So totally, for everyone get out there, and it's a hell of a way to kick off the season too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
it's right at the start.
yep,
Yeah,
it's right at the
very
start. I think only Camp Razor is the thing before that, and I haven't been to
oh,
it
right,
yet.
yeah.
You know, I used
Get a
to think
fresh
unless you
flag
had
up
a
there.
razor, why would you show up to it? But I guess it's for everybody, so
Yeah,
like, I
totally.
don't have a razor. So, but anyway, super fun.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. It's cool to see. I mean, you're so passionate about Glamis. It obviously takes up, big place in your heart and, um,
Yeah,
yeah, I wonder what life would look like for you if Glamis had never entered it.
I'd be probably would have got stationed tried to get stationed somewhere else. Um, I'd still be doing the same type of this kind of thing. I always let
You'd be off-roading for sure,
oh,
but
yeah.
this I don't know any, you're like s 5 months of the year are Glamis months, this is
I
where you'll
love it.
be
Usually winter sucks everywhere. Winter's amazing in San Diego. I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot of things you could say about California, but you can't say a damn thing about the weather. The weather here is
No, the
amazing.
weather's great,
I
yeah,
love the weather here in San Diego. So, it's the only place you can walk around with a hoodie and flip-flops all year round and have a good time. In the wintertime is where it's just peaking for me. So,
yeah.
most places, everyone tries to get away for the winter. This is where I go for the winter. So, yeah.
Was there a moment when you realized that Glamis had changed you somehow?
Um, that honestly, I mean, a lot of the places you go to will take a hold of you. I mean, well, it's kind of one of those things. I've met a lot of Duners out here that this is their life, and it has been, and their families. And um, I'm not about to compete with their connection with this place.
Sure.
I absolutely love it, and it's definitely got a genuine spot in my heart. But here's the thing, though, it's a fun place, but I've been all over the world. I've been traveling my entire life. It's the people that make the difference. If I had walked into a different camp, I might have had a completely different perspective of this place. So I'd tell people the people make the place too. You can start off with a great place, but the people really make it. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong, there's some shitheads out here, but at the same time, there's some amazing people. And those are the ones that I love to meet, I love to talk to, and I love to hang out with them. And, um, some people, you just never know. Maybe they're just young and don't get it yet, and they'll just get older, and everyone will talk about it a different time. It's kind of like how you'll meet some of these dudes like, "Oh, this place ain't it's changed. It's no good anymore." Like you're just in the wrong wash, man. You're just in the wrong spot. You go find you a tribe that look after each other and have a good time, and before you know it, they'll just turn into family to you. So the people make the place.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really awesome experience out there.
totally.
In the
Yeah,
yeah.
I got lucky. I'll tell you that. So. Well, Miss Payne, a lot of people don't know anything about you. My camp knows you. Then obviously now I'm just talking mouth on here. Um, how about you? What was your first off-roading experience?
Um, well, most of my off-road this isn't even obviously what they mean by off-roading, but most of my experiences were by foot for the longest time. Being in Colorado for how many years? 12 years? I was a hiker. I hiked and camped, but it was sort of like ground tent camping.
That's
None of
all good.
this fancy, overlanding stuff.
Hey, you're tougher
Um
than me. I won't sleep on the ground anymore. I'm tired of it. My back hurts too much.
Well, I haven't in, several years now at this point, but I had a 4Runner, did a little bit with my 4Runner, but nothing I mean, really, my first experience was in the Arctic Cat 1000.
Yeah.
Is that how we the rock crawler? Is that how we refer to it? The
Yeah.
Arctic Cat
I mean, it,
1000?
it worked out good. So this what was really fun about this is it was one of our first dates. I asked Rebecca, I'm like, "What'd you like to do?" And she's like, "Oh, you can pick what you want." And she picked Antero Pass, which is a 14-foot mountain peak
I
that
was
you
like,
can
"I hear
actually
you can
drive up.
drive to the top of this 14er. You
Yeah,
wanna take me up that in your fancy rig thing? That big cage that crawls like a spider?"
yeah. So that was fun. So that's what we did. We went to Antero Pass, and I was like, "Okay, you're cool." After if you're willing to put up with this, we're on to a great start. So yeah, we did Antero Pass, and then she.
I will say, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I mean, I had a great time, but we got into it and we started crawling up this mountain, a 14,000-foot mountain. I mean, granted, you start at like 11 or 12,000 feet. It's not like you do all 14,000 feet, but still, you have a long way to go. And this thing, like, you can walk faster than this thing drives sometimes. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
oh,
geared low. Yeah,
this is going to be a minute.
you know what?
We're really gonna we have to find a lot to talk about.
You hear what she said there, though. Everyone starts off at 10. So all these hikers out there talking about these 14ers they climbed, they started off around 10,000 feet, guys.
Okay,
Don't let them
but
intimidate you.
it's at 10,000 feet. Do you know what the oxygen level's like there?
Oh, you're born in the mountains. You'll be all right. Yeah.
Who's born in the mountains? Nobody is
Once
born
you're
in the mountains.
acclimated, once you get in shape, you're all right. You take any dude from, no elevation, you throw him elevation, everyone's
Okay,
going to be a
just
rock
you're
star.
mhm. Gonna get yourself in trouble here.
I know, I'm gonna piss off so many people. But no, hey, my first time I had to go hike out there, I did South Border Peak, and I didn't realize that was 4,000-foot elevation on 4 miles. So it was pretty rough. So I'll give the hikers their credit.
Yeah,
I just like
exactly.
talking shit a little bit, but it's all good. But then she's done that, and then now she's out there doing this stuff with me, and yeah, we're turning her loose. So, with each podcast, I try to bring on someone who has some technical expertise that can help all the viewers. And one thing that's unique about Rebecca is that she's a clinical psychologist and she's had her own practice for years and is a doctor. So, I can clearly say we have an expert when it comes to dealing with emotions and feelings and how the mind works. And one thing that I wanted to ask Rebecca that could probably help people, because one thing that we deal with a lot in Glamis are accidents and trauma. So, what I want to do is give her kind of a scenario and give you guys some techniques to probably help either yourself or people that are in a bad accident and dealing with trauma. So, Rebecca, I want to ask you. So, say we have someone who's in a really bad accident. You have somebody who's going through trauma, you have their immediate family who is experiencing that trauma of their loved ones being hurt. And then you have the friends, the bystanders, the other people that are a little more disconnected from it.
Right.
How should these people receive help, or what could they do?
Yeah, those are great questions. Obviously, physical safety comes first. So everybody just has to get out of immediate danger. And, the people that need significant medical attention, so once all that has happened and we're just now dealing with sort of the aftermath, I think it's important to realize that shock doesn't look the same in all people. I mean, of course, you can have the sort of screaming and panic, sort of hyperventilating moments, and that's obviously shock and becoming dysregulated because of the trauma. But it can also be like staring or zoning out, people being confused or having kind of delayed responses, saying I'm fine when they're clearly not, like somebody's just kind of like clamming up a little. Yeah, that's definitely a trauma response. We don't want to just talk somebody out of that. We don't want to just tell them to calm down and that everything's we don't want to dismiss what's going on inside of them. Because for them, they don't have that option. They can't do that. You're gonna create a very calm environment. You're gonna be move slowly,
And
speak
this is
in
to
low.
put them at ease.
Yeah, this is to reduce stimulation. So their system is flooded with whatever the traumatic experience was. Either it was a loved one, or maybe it happened to them and they're not hurt enough to have to go to the hospital or something, but they're still kind of stunned from it. And what you need to communicate is that they're safe right now, that they have you there with them. So, you can say things like, especially if they're kids, but even adults, like, I'm right here with you. You're safe. There's nothing you need to do. We're just going to be here together. You're soothing the nervous system when you're doing that. You're getting that nervous system to come back down out of fight or flight. And they'll start to regulate to your nervous system. So if you're taking calm, deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling slowly, you can even if they're willing to, you can kind of coax them into breathing like that with you. Like, let's just take some deep breaths here. But like I wouldn't take a fast inhale. It's like slow inhale. Like,
Now, why
let's
is that important?
well, it's so what we're beginning to do is moving into grounding techniques. So we're getting this nervous system back in the state where it's grounded in the present reality. You get more oxygen to the brain, you can think more clearly. So when you're in a state of shock, everything inside your system is getting prepared to respond to the trauma. And what happens there is we no longer have as much access to just thinking as clearly as we could, to seeing everything that's true, to seeing all the solutions. Those of us that can help just want to create a really calm, soothing environment. And then we're going to start to physically ground those people back to reality. Can you touch the sand? Feel what the sand feels like in your hand. I'm saying sand because, if it's happening in the dunes. If somebody's, sitting in their camper, finding different things to touch. Touching cold things can be really very grounding experience. Can you feel the cold of that? Can you feel the cold metal?
Why
And
is
of course,
grounding important?
so grounding is literally tethering somebody back to the here and now. Like, you are here, you're safe, and we're going to bring this nervous system back online. Now, of course, everybody's trauma history is going to be involved here, so it's going to be easier to do it with some people than others. And those are just like variables that you can't control. But these are all techniques that you're going to want to do.
Okay. Now, why is it important that we do that? Is it for comfort, or is it for more long-term effects that could come from this?
It's not good for the nervous system to be in a state of fight, fight, or flees for a long period of time. It's extremely that takes an enormous amount of energy, and it delays the resiliency of that person from coming back from those states. Everybody responds differently. And again, that's all based on people's history. So we don't want to force them to talk. That's another thing people will often want to do. Like, let's talk about, like, well, tell me what you're feeling right now. Oftentimes, people in that state, like, they're not going to be able to access all those words. They just need to physically feel comfortable and safe. And if they want to talk about it, that's fine. But in the moment, it's all about getting that nervous system back online, getting the energy in the right places in the body to work towards healing and resilience instead of just being like shut down and or in that panic place, because that's those should only be very temporary places that we are when we immediately are in danger. But as soon as we're out of danger, we need to be bringing that nervous system back out of those places.
Okay, great. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So lower the stimulation, nice slow movements. Don't crowd them. Don't yell at them. Just be very respectful, but also help them kind of, again, ground. And people can look up grounding techniques. You can look up what that is, and you'll see there's tons of websites about all of that. So,
So
yeah.
if your kid wrecks your brand new side by side, go easy on him until he comes to, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. You might have to do some grounding techniques related to
Yeah,
your
you might need
anger
some
if that
grounding techniques
happens.
for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Bring yourself get your zen back, you know? I can totally imagine that would be
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. Well, great. Well, thank you. I appreciate it,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this. At least you got to know me and my wife. And now you know who's running around peddling coffee at Glamis and what we're doing and why we're doing it. So when you see it, come on by, say hi. We'll try to get this stuff out more places, but you can always find it at glamiscoffee.com. You can buy a bag there and or buy anything you want there. We got shirts, we got sweaters. A dollar of every bag we sell goes back to Glamis veterans. All right. So um be safe out there. All right. And I'll see you in the dunes.